Hey there guys, it's Neil Pry here from FXCorrelator.com, and I just want to take you through a few very quick things that you can see there on the slide deck in front of you. I want to talk you through the Forex week ending last week, about the 8th of May 2020, last 5 days of action. I want to just, while I'm doing that, just talk a little bit more about my charity meter, my charity indicator. It's going very well. Thanks to everyone that's bought it so far and donated to charity. It's great. And then just to finish off, I want to talk about my freebie pages, where there are some indicators that I think some of you are not aware of that are really useful, and they're free. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Okay, here's my own website, FXCorrelator.com. If you get linked through there, you'll get me, you'll get the homepage, and it just, very simple. It starts running through the things that I want you kind of people to get involved with. So first thing it talks about is how you get an edge, how I get an edge in my trading. Go through that. If you're brand new to Forex, it shows you how to learn about that. Then it goes through some of the things that I offer there, which is good. And if you can you subscribe for updates? Type your email in here, completely free, and you'll start to get my newsletters and updates, okay? I'm not going to sell you anything. Well, if I do, it'll be in the future, and I promise you it'll be pretty good value, whatever it is. So if you want to get involved, it's up to you. If you don't, please don't. I'm not going to scam you. I'm not going to sell you nonsense. I'm not going to sell you multi-level marketing schemes or bitcoins or I don't know, whatever else these guys are selling out at the moment. It's pretty sad, isn't it? So I'm not going to do that stuff. I've been trading Forex for 20 years. I've been trading the markets for 40 years. And yeah, I just give good, no nonsense, solid information. Always happy to help, happy to give free advice, because so many people have been good to me during my time. I'm an independent trader. I make my money trading. I don't make it charging you thousands of dollars for courses, which really you could probably learn for free. So that's my kind of hard sell if you want initially. And yeah, I really recommend you go to this free Forex training area. And you won't have to pay $2,000 to learn what a moving average is. Okay, I'm going to click on the fixed start indicator here. This is the one that does cost you some money. It actually costs you a ridiculous amount of £15 sterling. It's the indicator you're going to see in a minute. It's the indicator I use for all of my commentaries. It's all here. It's being linked through the Virgin NHS charity site. Virgin do a lot of things in terms of linking for charities. So I don't think there's no money goes to Virgin. This is all literally for my NHS charity. So I'm getting nothing from this. I'm just getting a chance to share with you a brilliant indicator that is really going to help your trading. So it's there at the fixed start, and you're about to see it right now. So let's get on with the week, last week that was. Okay, here we are last week, starting on the Monday the 4th of May. Now remember, in the Forex world, we start late Sunday night GMT. We roll into a nation session, and then the fun starts all the way through Monday. So this is picking up really from the start of the week. There are 8 colours on here representing the 8 currencies. They are denoted here, and this is my charity indicator. The reason it is so smart is that if you drag it a little bit and start to look what happened before the 4th of May, nothing happens. The reason is I've reset all the prices to 0 from the start of the week. So what you get to see is you get to see what currencies did well, what currencies sold off, all against the 0 line here. So it's a really smart little indicator. Okay, so let's see what happened this week. So if we take a look at the front end of the week, so we're kind of talking about this area. This was the first day's activity. So we're going to have a quick look there. You can see that the first day, it was, I mean, there would have been a lot going on in the day, but it really didn't give us too much of anything that was really big and started to significantly show what was happening. The main story for me really Monday was that the greenback, which is the green USD here, it was definitely bullish. So my antenna, if you want, both on the short term and here where I'm really looking to swing trade the week, I'm definitely looking to try and buy dollar. Now, it might not stay bull above the 0, but for want of a better signal, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to be trying to sell currencies off of USD. And as I was indicating earlier in the week in my website, my blogs, you had the 3 classic pattern here. You've got the 3, the kind of 3 European currencies here, very much dominating bear. So I like that. I like that a lot. So on Monday, you would have seen me very much looking to sell Europeans into the US dollar and also into yen if that was what you wanted to do. But this is a great pattern, guys. And from then on, as you can see, it continued through the week. If you were looking to place positions in the first 24 hours of the day, get in, say, on the hourly or even the 4-hour chart, if you were very, you're looking for bigger positions. But for me, an hourly does, using the hourly chart like this. That was a great place to be. And from then on, really, we didn't look back. There were some little pullbacks here. Obviously, you know, the Europeans did have their pullbacks, but generally, it was a great trade through. And if you notice, and again, I'm going to try and, drag this through. Some of these guys got down to the 160s, 170s. Sterling was a little disappointing. I thought it could have done actually much worse in terms of falls than this, but it didn't. And in fact, the euro was probably the most significant faller through the week. So if you were selling euro this week, good for you. Meanwhile, on the buy side, where did we have the big players? Well, the yen is always going to be a bit of a mover. It's one of the faster and more volatile currencies in the G8. You get to know this if you work on this kind of stuff long enough. And we're up in the 160s, 170s here. So 160, 170 pip move for yen in the week at its peak. That was on the 6th, around Wednesday. Then yen actually came off dramatically. The same as USD did. USD back end of the week really came off. So these two guys working in parallel together. Now those two currencies, the USD and the yellow yen there, they do tend to correlate and move together quite a bit of the time. I've been following that pattern for nearly 20 years, to be honest with you. It used to be more prevalent back in the early days, early 2000s, and even in 2009, 2010, when I was finally going a little bit more public with this stuff. I was definitely preaching using them as a tag team, like a wrestling tag team, just two currencies moving together. And when they're moving together, obviously, that gives you a lot of confidence. So if they're moving together, as you can see here, in a bullish manner, moving upwards, that gives me a lot more confidence for anything that is selling. They really are probably going to be pushed more and more south because these guys are working together. Remember, trading is a zero-sum game. What do I mean by that? Well, what I actually mean by that is probably better to show this on a moving average indicator. If I just pull up my 20 moving average. So remember, this is my free indicator. This is absolutely free. What this is doing is it's bending all of these currencies around a 20 moving average. So if you were to attach a 20 moving average to any of these guys, this is what you'd be seeing. Okay. So for example, here's sterling, and it's obviously moving downwards. So it would be below its 20 moving average. And down here, it is below its 20 moving average. You understand that? And what I mean by a zero-sum game is that if you were any time to add the value of these guys all together, the pluses and minuses, it will always come to zero. So you always have absolute winners, absolute losers. You can control this market completely, and that is why it's completely unique and separate to any other market and why I like it so much. Okay, so just a little insight there. Okay, so we've seen what actually happened this week with the bulls and the bears, and I'm just going to give you a quick insight into how you could have traded it this week very, very simply on a 1-hour chart. Remember, this isn't scalping. I scalp down on the 1 minutes and even faster. This is me showing you how you can make money by not having to follow the 1 minute. This is actually just following something like the hourly charts for the whole week. Okay, you've got a nice start and end date. You have the Sunday night start around the 3rd of May and it ends late on the 8th of May. So you've got a very, very discrete area to work with, a discrete unit of trading, and that is why having a zeroized currency at a zeroized price at the start really, really helps this. Okay. So how could we have traded this? Let me just give you a little insight. Okay, let's imagine and focus on what we got here. Okay, let's focus on cable, which is sterling and the dollar, and I'm going to highlight those. And let's go back to the Monday. Okay, and let's just see what we can do here. Okay, you saw my free FXCorrelator indicator here on a 20. I'm going to bring up a 7. Okay, and what I've done here is I've I've actually gone into the settings for it, and I've only made sterling true. Okay, just sterling true. Okay, click OK on that. And it's on a 7 moving average. And what I'm trying to do is just get an indication. I'm not going to worry too much about the dollars doing, because I know the dollar is above the zero. So whatever happens generally, I'm happy to be buying the dollar in this pair. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if there's any opportunities for me to swing a pullback here and see where I have some very high probability trading signals. And the high probability trading signals for this kind of thing are as follows. Remember, when sterling as an index starts to fall dramatically, its movement around the 7 moving average, it will move away from its 7 moving average baseline. Yeah, agreed? So what I'm trying to do is, in a situation like this, because I'm looking to sell sterling, if this line, the 7 moving average, if it comes back above its 7 moving average in almost like a bullish pullback, I'm going to be very keen to try and find opportunities to come back in. And the way I would do that roughly is, first of all, if I want to be very aggressive, what I do is I look for very, very big pullbacks. Like here, for example, you see this one just here. This is a massive pullback, and clearly we are selling. So that's a big signal for me. But generally, early days, especially early days in the week, I'm just looking for when it pops down into sell mode there. So it comes back below the zero. So this kind of area, I would have been very interested in trying to strike a sell trade. Okay, just getting you in around here. And it wasn't bad, but it didn't quite work. We'll come back to that. Let's see what else we've got. Another one here. Okay, so let's drop another line in there. So I'm just gonna go through this. So I'll come back in a second when I've completed this. Okay, so bear with me. You can see here roughly where I'm dropping in these signals as it comes back down below the zero. Bear in mind, because sterling's been bearish all week, I'm quite happy to be trading this. I don't actually care. I mean, I got more nervous here when dollar have really come back, but up to this point, I'm more than happy to be aggressively selling this on pullbacks, okay? Something like this one is an amazing pullback. There is no way that sterling is going to come back here. So this was, I would have been very aggressive on this position here. I would have gone much earlier than the signal here. So let's now drag, this actually happens to be a cable chart. So let's drag this down and see what happens. Okay, I'm just going to drag the chart down. This is cable. And let's see where we were. So let's come back to here. The actual signal is a drop down there. So how did we do? You tell me. I'm just going to make this a little bigger and drag it back to here. I'm doing this live kind of thing, so I'm not worried. So signal here, what do you think? Very, very simple. Push trade down. There was probably some money there, yeah. You keep a relatively tight stop on this and push down. Next signal is there. That's the signal, bang in. What do you think? Well, you're going to be sitting there for a long time, but really it didn't pull back, did it? So there's some more money there. Next signal here, so which is really a continuation of where this trade was still in motion. So it's a reconfirmation, pulls back up, down, very nice. Now that's really where the money is. That was a great sell. You want to hang in there, that was brilliant. So we're doing okay, aren't we, guys? Let's just have a quick check and see how we're doing here. So sterling is obviously selling. US dollar is still very bullish, isn't it? It's above the zero. So we're quite happy to keep going. Right, massive pullback. Can you see where this pullback was? The pullback, this is a massive pullback here. And if you are looking at more conventional signals, look at this. So it's a massive pullback into trend, and you've got a nice pin bar there. So this, again, if you're a traditional trader, you know that you're on one of the best currencies to sell. Obviously, there's a couple that are a little bit more aggressive in sell mode at the moment, but actually, in terms of pullback, the sterling is the currency of these three that is pulled back the nicest and almost guaranteeing that it's going to switch back again. Okay, so you can go here. The other signal was clearly waiting until you crossed back above below the zero. So your next signal is here, and look what happened. That was just as good, just as good. So that is a great trade. Okay, then we do lots of pullbacks. There was a kind of teasy signal around here, wasn't there? Very, very wobbly. And you might have gone in there. Why not? If you did, small stop, keep it tight, you would have come out eventually. You would have made a loss there. Next real signal is here. This is where it actually does get below there. So you're into another trade here. And again, let me look at what's happening. So can you see now where we have risk? We've had a pullback on the dollar. That's starting to get pretty risky, isn't it? Now that really, if you want to be absolutely solid in your trading and only take the best trading signals, at this point, technically, US dollar for the week is now bear. It's come below the zero. So you do not take this trade. In fact, you don't take any further trades because it hasn't really come back up, which is a real shame because I almost guarantee you, again, when sterling does a big pullback like this on the 7, and again, we can see it. See, sterling is still very comfortably below the zero as a bear trade there. You can see that euro came back as well. That is worth a punt. That is worth a punt. Let's drag it across. Looking for a signal here. This was right at the last gasp, right at the end of the week. I'm going to drag it down. What do we see? Okay, we did not, on this particular 1 hour bar, we did not get a nice pin bar like here. We got a nice solid sell mode. But again, and I'm not going to teach you how to do the exact entry signals, but this really was quite a nice position to try right at the end of the week, although you were going into the back end of the week. But again, that might have been okay. But bear in mind, if you're following strict rules, dollar, you know what? Dollar was in bear mode. But it's still pretty much zero. Okay, I hope that helped a little. You can do this, remember, on this indicator here, the free one. You can literally set anything up you want. You can click and change and bring currencies in, out. You can change your moving average. Great little indicator. So feel free to use that. And obviously you can use it more traditionally on a 20. Sorry, actually we're still not sure why that's gone off like that. There shouldn't be any alerts because we're still on Sunday. Markets haven't opened. So I hope that helped. Last but not least, guys, go to my FXCorrelator.com. Click on free NVP links. Okay, so there's plenty of pages here. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this session. I just noticed I was running out of time, so sorry, I'm going to have to cut that short. Maybe we'll come back on the next video and talk about the freebies page. But if you look for the freebies page on my website, you will find it if you dig in deep enough. And this is Neil Pryor signing off. Have a great week next week, and I hope you trade well. Cheers, guys. Bye.